All right. So we are live. Hello, my friend. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Same here. I mean, honey, I always love chatting with you, but the fact that we get to chat and to share a conversation with everyone is just amazing.
Yes, I love it. Well, I've been doing these Facebook Lives for 10 days in a row, and today is the official birthday party of the Desire Factor. And I thought to myself, who else would I want to do a birthday celebration and party with other than Natalie? So that's why I asked you to come today, because it's a birthday celebration for the Desire Factor. So yay!
Yay.
And why for some of you that are listening to us, the Desire Factor came out officially on Wednesday of last week, but this is the big week that we're doing the New York Times push. So if you haven't bought your book yet, go and buy it, because by Saturday of this week, so from Sunday to Saturday, we are actually taking away the bonuses. So you have this week, go today to thedesirefactor.com, because you're going to get the different bonuses of the meditations. Plus you get registered for a 4-week live coaching session with myself and the council, digging into going even deeper than the book goes on these live coaching sessions. So go to desirefactor.com. And before we get going, Nat, I just want to thank everybody. I just feel so, I know you feel this way in your life too, but I just feel so blessed that I learned this information 25 years ago, that I have the privilege of teaching it for now almost 20 years, that this is my 7th book, and that this really does work, because my life is, and who I am today is totally different than I was back in the day. And I could see the trajectory of where I was headed if I wouldn't have learned this information. And every day is just a blessing for me. And I get to be supported by amazing friends like you. And, it's just, I'm just so grateful. I know we talk about this all the time.
I know we have a little love fest between each other, but I am really honored that you asked me to speak on the actual birthday of the book, because birthdays are awesome, but what makes birthdays really awesome is surprises, right? Surprises are the best thing that can happen when you're doing a birthday.
Yes.
So I think that maybe you're in for a surprise.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, because Frederick has been kind of sneaky the last couple of days, as I was telling you, and I'm 100% faith that man is like, but one might think, is he on an affair or something, because he's like, I have to leave and go somewhere, and I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I can't tell you. There's none of that in my mind. I know he's like surprised. Here he's knocking on the door. What are you guys doing? Oh my God, they've been working on this all night. I'm videotaping it here too. They stayed up till almost midnight last night working on something. They've been working on it this morning. What are you guys doing?
All right, so it's not just us guys, but it's your whole entire team has prepared something for you for your book launch. So you need to take your computer.
Yes.
And along with Natalie, and Natalie is there.
Do you know about this, Natalie?
Maybe.
You guys are such buggers. Okay.
Come over here with us.
I'm gonna walk with my computer. This will be a treat. Let me see. Come along with me, everybody.
Yeah.
See how messy my office is.
Like, surprise!
Right? This is a different Facebook Live. So here we go. Let me see. Give me a second, everybody, as I blind myself with my. There we go. Okay.
So you're gonna have to give me your computer.
Okay. Say hi to Nat. Hang on. Let's.
Hey, Fred.
How are you? Thanks
Good, how are you?
Here's my son Maxim. Look how big he is. Look at this.
How are you, buddy?
Good.
All right. So do I point the camera to?
Well, if you want to see my expression or my.
Yeah, right now we can see your big guns, Fred.
Oh, I thought you were talking about mine. I thought, good thing I put pants on, didn't have my pajama bottoms on like I usually do for Facebook Lives. Am I supposed to open this thing?
Tell mommy what she needs to do.
You got it? Lift it up? Okay. Is something gonna pop out at me? Did you get me a puppy? Where is my dog?
He's okay. He's good.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yay!
Oh my God, how cool. You guys built this last night? Yeah. You guys are awesome. Look at this cake. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday, Desire Factor.
Mm.
Yeah. Look how cool that is. It's got
Isn't
the
it gorgeous?
art. Oh my God, you guys, this is awesome. Yay! We eat cake.
Guess we eating cake.
Guess we eating cake.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was fun. Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Now they can play with the balloons.
Now they play the
Yes.
Now I'll hear my dog barking. All right, let me move myself. Hi, everyone, watching me move around in my office. Oh my God, it's so
that's
funny.
from your entire team.
Thanks, team. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Beth and Kim and Terry and Tab. You guys are awesome. Sweetie, could you turn that? I can get it. Watch my boobs in the Facebook Live. There you go. You got more than you bargained for.
That's right. And it's Sunday morning. I mean, you never know what's going to happen on a Sunday morning.
No, I did not know that was really cool. That I gotta figure out what they were building, that box. I mean, that was pretty creative. So
Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel so blessed, you know, so celebrated. This baby has a birthday. I'm so excited. So let's get into it. Let's actually have our conversation about desires. Because I've known you, Nat, for well over a decade now. We have had some amazing experiences together. We have shared going and traveling to some incredible, I'm like all hot. Whew, okay.
I know, me too. I'm hot for you. I'm taking my shirt off.
I'm hot for you. Yeah, we've gone to incredible, I mean, some of my most favorite memories in the last decade have been, you know, including you. And traveling to different places like the Barbados and Maui and Costa Rica, and I mean Turks and Caicos, and just having amazing experience with you. So we've had the ability to witness each other's desires, and we've shared our desires with each other. We've seen them manifest, which has been really cool. And I so appreciate you. I'm still like flustered from what just happened. I'm like, let me take my Desire Factor book and fan myself as I have a hot flash. So one of the desires I would love for you to talk about is how I saw you when I first met you. You were in a 15-year marriage with Glenn, and saw that relationship dissipate in the sense of a romantic relationship. You obviously still business partners, and the way you guys transitioned from that was just so beautiful. Just such a way to apply what you know, and you still travel together and you're still friends. It's just quite amazing. But you had this desire for a partner, and kissed some frogs along the way. Right?
Well, you know what, and it's really interesting because I only really had one relationship per se. I dated a lot of guys, and I for a while there I thought I just needed to get good at dating, and then like no, I actually want a relationship. Let's forget about the dating thing. Let's look at a relationship. And I did was in a relationship with one guy who was an amazing guy. We're still friends as well, and I call him the breakup that keeps on giving. So, I got a lot of my wounds really came to the surface. And so I have a girlfriend of mine that says, look, your relationships are either the clarifying one or they're the one, right? So I'm exceptionally grateful that I went through that, because it meant that, I could work on all the wounds and all that kind of thing. But of course, I was saying, yes, I want a relationship. This is what I want. And it wasn't until COVID hit and my calendar was completely free that I realized, I actually never had a real time for a relationship. My desire was one thing, but my actions and the way that I was living and my embodiment was something completely different. They were not in alignment. And so it took something like COVID and a free calendar, like a spare calendar for me to go, no, well, this is something that I'm looking for. So, I created a mind movie at the beginning of 2020. And in my movie, I was really talking about, I talk about how I show up in relationship. So how I needed to be this person. Then I talk about the characteristics of my partner. And for me, you know, what makes a man really attractive is his soul and his heart. You know, so I don't necessarily have a type when it comes to looks. It's more the type when it comes to his soul and his heart. So I talked about his characteristics, how I show up, and then I described our relationship and what that looked like and the things that we do together. So I created that in the beginning of the year, and then continued to do the work on clearing out, you know, all the things that stood between me and my desire. You know, my limiting beliefs, my, you know, past connections to past relationships. You know, how, when I described how I wanted to show up in a relationship, then I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to change? How do I need to change myself to become that person? You know, so that was the kind of the work that I did leading up to August last year, where I got to meet my love, my guy. And it was really interesting because I actually showed him my mind movie about a month ago. And he goes, all right, babe, this is kind of creepy. He said, that is exactly what we have. I went, I'm telling you, darling, I ordered you.
You were on order from the universe, and here you are. Like ordering in a catalog. I'll have that one.
Yeah, I went because but everything I described, from his characteristics to the things that we do together and all of that, he was like, wow, it was amazing. And what was really interesting is because I was so clear about what I wanted, that you know, because the funny thing is, during COVID, you know, the rules of engagement are a little bit different. You know, yes, everybody's online. So I had been online before, so I was kind of cool with that. But a lot of people who would not normally be online were online because there was no other way to meet someone. You know, and of course now you're doing video calls, or you're talking on the phone, or there's other ways that you start to connect rather than just go straight to a date. So, you know, Bert reached out to me through one of the online apps. So we kind of texted back and forth, and the next day we spoke on the phone, and then the next day we had our first date. The first date was a walk, because, you know, that's what you do during COVID. You don't go to a restaurant because nothing's open, right?
Right.
So we're walking along Venice Beach, and there was a couple of times where I would just stop and go, are you serious? Like, do you really think that? Because that, like, there was a couple of things he said that were actual affirmations in my mind movie.
Wow.
That, you know, and when he saw the mum movie, he goes, now I understand why you were so excited on that first date. Because he said there are some big key things that you've put in here that we talked about, you know, and I think also looking at, you know, even though a relationship had been my desire in the past, it's like, what stopped me from getting there? And one of the things that kind of held me back before was, you know, my deepest wound is abandonment. You know, my mother left when I was 3. So I put up a bit of a wall. And so I made a commitment that I wasn't going to do that this time. And so our first date, we walked for an hour, then we sat in the cafe and had water for an hour. It was 2-hour date. I dropped in really quickly. And, you know, and of course, Bert was able to reciprocate and drop in really quickly as well. So we had this really deep, beautiful connection, which is one of my affirmations that I wanted from the very first date. You know, and that was what, about 8 months ago now. So
awesome. I know. I'm so happy for you. It's amazing. It's so amazing to watch a friend, whether it's, you know, get a partner or achieve a goal, or to, you know, move from one place to another place, to be able to witness that. And it's just such an honor as a friend to do that. And, you know, it's like to see you so happy. I mean, you're always just a happy person, but to see that part of your life, you know, you manifest exactly what you want is so cool. And, you know, you and I have gone through this journey. We came online at the same time. We kind of, you know, we've shared a lot of similar things, you know, in this journey of being coaches and kind of being out in the public with teaching on law of attraction. And of course, you know, you with mind movies. And it's just so cool to see you get exactly what you wanted and not settle. Right. And not just like, this is good, but I mean, you're like, he's got it. It's got it. This relationship has it all.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, you know, sometimes we can have a desire and be clear about what that is, but then something that shows up that's not quite it. It's okay. You go, look, I could compromise on this and this, but, you know, and it could be okay. But in a way, if it's when we're looking at anything that we desire, I think, and especially around relationship, I got some really good advice from Gay and Katie Hendricks. Actually, from Katie Hendricks. I was at a party with her up in Ojai. And she said, Nat, she said, you need to have 3 must-haves and 3 deal breakers. She goes, you don't want a massive list. You just want something short. These are the 3 things that are really, really important. Those are the things that you don't compromise. Everything else you can compromise on, but that is what you need to hold true to. So that was, for me, that was really good advice, and yeah.
So let me ask you this. You and I are like, we're inner work warriors. And that's one of the things that we just as sisters can just, it's like when I'm having an issue or when I'm having my contrast show up, I go within, right? Yeah. And I'll have coaches or people that can help me, friends that I can talk to about it. I remember years ago, 6 years ago, I called you on the phone. I'm like, I'm having a spiritual crisis here. I'm like, I have everything in my life. I've created everything. And I'm like, and it's like, I feel like, what's it for? Like, I've learned how to manifest really amazingly, but what's it for? Right. Yeah. And I went through that, and just to be able to share those times with you, it's like that was a time to go within. And I've seen you obviously from a warrior perspective, and how I frame it in the desire factor is you said the first thing you said is you got to be in alignment with your desires. And when you feel pulled off of it, that's where you got to go within and work on the split energy, whether it's, you term it as a limiting belief or a block or, whatever it may be. But if something is pulling you away from that desire, thinking that you can't have it, or you're attracting, not necessarily the thing that you want, that's where it's time to go within. But the other thing you said too is that it's like celebrating the closeness of the match, right? It's not going, oh man, that's wrong. But you celebrate the parts that, are, because I saw you in your last relationship and you were celebrating, like, yes, these are the qualities that I want to bring forth into the new relationship. When I meet that new guy, right? And since this one's now over, you did your mourning period, you did your releasing of that, you did your inner work, but then you were like, these are the qualities that was close, right? And I'd love for you to share that process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, because I've done a lot of work, like you, done a lot of inner work and the whole thing. And, I think that there were still things in my life that I was looking at that I desired that I wasn't able to achieve. And it's nothing like a pandemic to make you really reassess what your life was like. And you're going, I was on a plane every other week. Like, I was just like bang, 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 bang. And my life was busy. So then I had to sit in, and when we do the inner work, because that's when you get really quiet, and you've got to ask the question. I'm like, well, why did I do that? Like, why, what was the need that I felt like I needed to feel by traveling all that, so much? And then, I kind of asked the question and sort of sit quietly. And, what came to me was like, it makes me feel more important. Like, okay. All right. And then I'm like, well, and then the next question comes up, well, important to who? And then the other thing that when I really kind of kept, because, it's like you pull on a thread. You ask one question and then you go, ooh, okay. And then you ask the next question, then the next question. So you don't stop at the one question. You've got to keep going deeper. And I think sometimes when we do this, what's most important is that we have the courage to look at the stuff that we don't want to look at. The courage to admit to the things and the thoughts and the processes and behaviors that we've had in the past, because until we can do that, we can't release it.
Right.
We have to go, all right, yes, I used to judge this and that and the other, and and then I realized where they come from, and I'm choosing to release it. So getting your house in order, I think, is great. Now, will we all ever have our house completely in order? I don't think that ever happens. I think this is a lifelong journey. So it's not like you go, okay, I have to get rid of all my limiting beliefs before I can get into a relationship or have the house or the car or whatever it is that I want. No, this is a journey. This is an ongoing process. That's why a book like The Desire Factor is fantastic, because it gives you the formula and the steps to do to be able to be on this beautiful journey. And I think if you love the journey, and if you love doing the inner work and what it takes to be able to get your desires, then you'll have everything that you want. because, you know, you're committed to the journey, not to the outcome. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the principles in the desire factor is love. And it's like, it's loving the journey. It's loving the desire before it actually manifests, because love is the manifestation energetic ray. I mean, it is the highest vibration, right? And not the kind of love that we kind of, most of us have been conditioned in, right? Like, I'll love you if you show up this way. If you get good grades, then you're, getting my approval and acceptance. And if you behave this way, if you're a good girl, then you'll get my attention and approval. And we equate it as, oh, that's love. If I act this way, do this thing, get this thing, then I'll be loved. And what counsel talks about is like, and that's something that just completely shifted me in my life when they came in, is that, wait a minute, I can, in my mind, mess up and I'm still infinitely loved. Whoa. Like, I'm still adored. Like, I could lose my temper and realize I lost my temper, apologize, but there's not something like a Santa Claus or some God outside of me checking list, go, you messed up there, you're going to go to hell for that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's like that God doesn't exist. It's a universe, a divine, whatever you want to call it, that's literally like you said, Natalie, we're all human on a journey, right? We're not supposed to be perfect because we already are perfect. And yet we're not supposed to, be on this thing where we don't have a moment where we're out of alignment and we might, be bitchy or, unkind or, these are all irritable, right? Sometimes we feel great and other days we just physically don't feel good. And maybe we're a little snotty or, whatever, but it's like that divine is not going up. Your love is now, your love meter has now depleted. It's like infinite for us, even when we're in those human moments, when we're in fear, when we're in lack, when we're coming from a place of, like you mentioned, that was my issue too, abandonment. Yeah. Huge issue for me that I worked out in my first marriage. Right. And having that perspective that I could be abandoned at any moment, right? It's like when you know that you're infinitely loved and that divine is not going anywhere, it's the part that breathes you and that it loves you unconditionally, that energy of love can move through you. And it's like, it heals the abandonment.
Yeah.
Right.
It heals the abandonment. It heals all the wounds. And, for me, I find that my precursor to be able to tap into that love and to remember that love, whether I'm going into a meditation or a visualization or anything like that, is gratitude. That is my gateway. If I can be in a place where I'm so grateful for everything that I have and, who I've become and looking at all the things that have gone right and be in that place, then the next step after that is tapping into that love and remembering that we are always loved, because we can beat ourselves up pretty badly about things that we wish we had done differently, that we should have done differently, that, that we wish I had done better, all of those kind of things. But, that's not where we want to put our focus. No. Our focus needs to be on, how perfectly imperfect we are. How, when we are on this beautiful, journey of life, when you understand the principles that Christy teaches in the desire factor, you can have anything that you desire. Yeah. You can have it, and if you're, because the thing is, when we're always on the journey to something, I believe, I think it is just human nature for us to desire certain things. That's what helps us grow, evolve. It helps us be happy, because that's our birthright, to be happy and joyous. In this lifetime, we are emanations of God in this little playground called Earth, and there's no reason why we were put here to suffer and to struggle. We can have what we want. And so when you are in that place where you're loving the journey and loving every day, and, when you create a desire and you've reached a desire that you want, this is fantastic and you celebrate it, but it's still like continuing on after that. That's why, the desire factor is, if you guys haven't got a copy of this book yet, you need to get off the pot.
Yeah, it is really, Joe Vitale, I was interviewing him yesterday, and I have to take the quote that he said, because he's like, this is like the manifestation book. I was just like, oh my, when he said that, I was in tears. because I feel that way. Because not only the energy, I mean, like just the artwork, but the energy in this book. And Marie Diamond was saying that it's not a book, it's a guide, because
Yeah.
you ask a question, open up the page, and literally get your answer. So it's like an interaction between the council and you with this. So it's so much more than a book. And the council even shares that it's a portal.
Yeah.
It's literally like if you buy this book, right, and even just have it, Kelly Sullivan Walden was saying that she's all about dreams, right? Put it by your bed, and you don't even have to read it. Just put it by your bed. You're going to be infused with the energy while you're sleeping. But if you want to take it to the next level, just pick a sentence or two when you first wake up in the morning, and then right before you go to bed at night. That's going to help you, get in alignment. So all these different experts, including yourself, like are talking about this, and the portal being that you go through this, because once you read something, once you read a sentence or some kind of excerpt from a book, all of our lives, so many of us have had our life that do personal development, have had our lives changed first. Why? It was a book.
Yeah.
So it's a portal into something else. I mean, there was a book you read that literally something you read in it, one thing pivoted and changed your life, right?
Oh, I mean, there's many books that I've read that have been a pivotal, moment in my life. My library is extensive. I'm actually trying to figure out where to put all my books. But when you're reading a book like that, it's especially when you have a desire. So before you start reading the book, make sure that you have a desire in mind, because when you apply what you read in Christy's book to that desire, you're going to have whiplash as to how quickly that's going to manifest for you. Like seriously, because we can be told a lot of different things, we can hear different things, but when you're actually reading it and you have this desire in your heart and in your mind of what you want to create, and then you start to apply it to what it is, and you're embodying what it is that you're reading, that is the formula for everything that you want in life. Yeah.
So before we close today, one thing I wanted to bring up is that you have your podcast, right? It's not over, just different.
Yeah.
Right? And I love that, because so many people think, well, I'm 50 now, or I'm, 55, or I'm 60, or, go higher. And, I've done that. I've had the husband or the wife, or I've had the kids, I've had the dog, it's like, right? It's like, wait, you're still living, you're still breathing. There's no time that is, to start over. I was watching Tina Turner is about to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and long time coming, as she definitely should. And Frederick and I were watching a documentary on her. I mean, she was 50 when she literally started her solo career.
Yep.
Left what she knew and started her own career on her own, making a name for herself, and there's so many examples of people over and over that literally started at the second hole, that, what do they call that, the second nine hole, the back nine. I'm like the second hole and the back nine, right? I don't know why I'm using a golf analogy. I don't golf, but it's like, it's never too late to that heart desire that you have, whatever it may be at this stage in your life. We're always going to have them, because that's life pulsating through us and moving us to something more. So yeah. I love that you have your podcast, because you're teaching us that it's not over. It's just going to be different. And what is the different?
Yeah. Well, the difference, whatever we want it to be, it's whatever we want it to be. And that's why, the podcast really is for women of a respectable age. And we talk about everything, very candid conversations about marriage and divorce and sex and hormones and you name it. We talk about everything. But like we were saying before, it doesn't matter how old you are. Like, I'm 52 now, and I've just met the man who's going to be my man for this next chapter of my life. There is no, age is no longer a reason. And I know, Christy, I know you have people of a whole lot of different, age groups in your community. I had a lady in my USM program that's 80 years old, so it's, it's never too late. And it's never too late, especially when you have the guide, when you have the handbook, when you have the A to Z of everything that you need to do in the Desire Factor.
Read the book. And so as a special, I got my team, thank you, Tabitha, created book plates. So for all of you that want to give this as a gift to a friend, and you want to give it as a gift with this, you know, sometimes it's kind of fun to have, hey, will you sign it? You know, we have the author sign it. I would love to do that for you. So when you go buy your book at thedesirefactor.com, and you're going to go, it's going to send you to Amazon or Target or Walmart or, you know, any of those Barnes and Noble, any of those places. You could actually, you know, go drive to your local Barnes and Noble or, you know, wherever it is, and you want to go pick up the book from an actual store instead of doing it online. Either way, just send in your receipt to support@christywhitman.com and just tell us who you want me to make this out to. I can, you know, as a gift, make it out to, hey, Charlie, you know, may all your desires come true, Christy Whitman, or whatever you want me to say. So since you're wanting to give it out, I was talking to Marie the other day, Marie Diamond, Natalie, and she was saying how The Secret, you know, really kind of caught fire, right? And how Rhonda Byrne had all these different DVDs, and, you know, people in our community were watching them, but it wasn't until all of the different people that were in The Secret started handing out copies of the DVD and literally said, pass it on. And it then, you know, blew up like wildfire. And that's when Oprah and Larry King and, you know, all these other people, all this media, it got into mass media and mass. That's when like this book, this movie at first, right, shifted things. I mean, there was literally an energetic cosmic shift that happened when The Secret came out. And I had been already coaching, right, and educating people in law of attraction well before that came out. But it was like, wow. I was having to say, well, there's this law called, law of attraction, and teaching people about it because they never heard about it. After The Secret came out, people were like, I'm so frustrated, it's not working for me. And now it's like, let's go deeper, right? And so that literally shifted the consciousness on the planet. And this is what we need now more than ever, with all of the divisiveness. I have friends that are on like, you know, very, very Democrat to very, very Republican, and I love them both equally, and it doesn't matter. I have friends that are like Lisa Nichols, she's Black, I'm white. It doesn't matter, right? It's like I know I have my desires. Nobody can take from me. Nobody is a threat to me because of my desires, because I know where my source of desires come from.
Right.
And if every single person understood the power that they have to create their desires, not based on something outside of them, but their own connection with their divine source, there wouldn't be half the crap that's going on in the world right now.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. And yeah. So Nat, love you. Appreciate you so much.
And happy birthday for you in the book. And yay.
I wonder if they let the dog out yet.
Yeah.
But I have to very much thank my husband and my kids for creating that last night, and for my amazing team. I absolutely have my desired dream team. I'm so grateful for you, Beth and Kim and Terry and Tab. You guys are just, I mean, just the pillars that surround me to allow me to do this work with the council. So thank you all. And thank you to Nicole Winhofer and Sherry Salata and Lisa Nichols and Marcy Scheimoff. Marcy gave me a beautiful bouquet of flowers. Oh my gosh, they're just amazing. And to Marie Diamond and Siobhan Moran and Anna Trabunskia and Bob Doyle. Bob Doyle did all the voices for Jax for all the videos during the launch. So that was like so much fun. And Dr. Joe Vitale, and of course you, my friend. I so appreciate you. Thank you for everybody that purchased the book and are going to make beautiful waves of new consciousness as you hold it, as you read it, as you dive into it. Thank you all. Have an amazing Sunday, everyone. Bye, Nat.
Congratulations, darling. Ciao.